Hey everyone, thanks for making the time today. I'm Dan Benucci. I lead the North American commercial team here at Linedata, and I'm going to be your host today. Today's goal is quite simple, building excitement around Optima AI and why it matters right now. Bit of quick housekeeping first. We're going to run about 20 minutes. Please drop any questions you have anytime using the QA tool. We're going to go ahead and collect those as we go, and then we're going to answer those at the end. We also received a few questions in advance, and we're going to make sure we cover those during our wrap up as well. If we don't get to every question live in today's session, we'll be sure to follow up with those with an email following today. All right, let's go ahead and kick this off and start why workflow isn't the bottleneck anymore and why work done is just setting the bar. So workflow tools, as we know, are everywhere. There's queues, tickets, routing, task lists. We've all invested in them. But if you're on the outside, you know the reality. You can be great at managing a queue and still feel like nothing is actually ever getting finished. That's the shift we're talking about today. Moving from workflow to work done, not tracking, not handoffs, just real completion. And just to level set, Optima AI is a new offer that brings together proven AI from En-ROAD and Linedata's workflow engine. Linedata is uniquely positioned to deliver this because we've spent decades supporting core investment processes from trading and portfolio management through accounting and reporting. And Optima AI builds directly on that foundation. So when we say Optima AI, we don't mean a chatbot bolted on top of a workflow. We mean AI that can take what comes in, usually an email, PDF, attachment, or whatever disparate data sources are impacting investment operations, and understand what that person that has that job is actually asking for. And then we help drive that to resolution. So the win here isn't just shaving off seconds and a job to be done. The win is removing the loop everyone hates, interpreting, rekeying, chasing, confirming, and then repeating that all over again. Optima AI is built for people who actually do the work. If you're a fund admin team, you live this every day. The clock starts, the email hits, half the job's understanding what the client actually wants. If you're in investment operations, you're the bridge between systems that don't even talk to each other. And then exceptions are basically the job all day. And if you're on the asset manager side, delays usually aren't from decision making. They're from actually waiting for the work to get interpreted and packaged back into something actionable. That's the world Optima AI is built for. So the numbers here tell the story. And here's the math behind why it's actually so hard. 75% of inbound work is showing up as unstructured. Again, back to those emails, PDFs, attachments. 95% of requests need a human involved just to figure out what's being asked and where it should go. And then half the work touches multiple systems before it's actually getting resolved. So the bottleneck isn't effort at all. It's interpretation and rekeying. And that's where time continues to leak, errors creep in, and teams are getting stuck doing copying and pasting instead of real work. My dog is upset. So the workflow didn't fail. Reality changed. I don't think workflow failed. I think the way work showed up changed. Work used to enter firms in structured ways, templates, forms, standard messages. Now it's back to, again, those emails, PDFs, screenshots, spreadsheets, and everyone is still expecting speed and accuracy like nothing ever changed. So the opportunity isn't better workflow. It's shrinking the mess at the front door so execution can actually scale. So we're going to go ahead and do some quick intros before we get any deeper. Ashish Mehta and Michael Galvin are the experts behind what you're about to see today. They've built Optima AI with one obsession, making it work in the real world, where information's messy and stakes continue to just be high. Ashish brings the platform lens, how you make this real and scalable in financial services, and Michael brings the product and operator lens, what teams are actually using day to day. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Ashish and Michael to show you how Optima AI is working and where we're taking it.
Great, thanks, Dan, and welcome everybody. So when we were designing Optima AI, we had 4 key drivers: be able to read and interpret data from any source using AI, be able to interact with any application, be able to design your workflow your way, be able to control the timing and allocation of workflows as you see it. Our vision is a single tool to orchestrate your full operational lifecycle, completely configurable to your unique needs, and with the ability to work across and integrate with all your applications. We give you a wide range of what we call reusable Lego blocks, and you combine them in any order or pattern to design your workflows. This is a diagram of a sample workflow showing how data is read from any of your existing sources, normalized using an AI agent, and then distributed to the right underlying applications and teams for further processing and review. You decide at what stage a human should be involved and how many eyes check data input. Optima AI does the rest. So the first step to an efficient process is timeliness. Our AI agents connect to your existing source content and execute workflows immediately upon information becoming available. The agents perform all the heavy lifting, listening for data, interpreting the data, and routing it as appropriate. As we will see through the presentation and demo, dashboards are available at all times to give you a real-time view of what is happening. Now I'll pass over to Ashish to go into detail on the AI side of this workflow tool.
Perfect. Thanks, Michael. And thanks everybody for taking the time. We appreciate it. Again, my role here is to actually demystify the platform behind what is powering Optima and make it completely AI enabled so that we can do this hard, unwanted task that is actually, as Dan said, leaking time and introducing errors. We Enroad is all about creating these AI agents, and we have created AI agents that understand and are specifically trained on financial documents. That is key because understanding the financial documents leads us to actually have better accuracy and completeness when we actually get this information and process it. There are four principles on which our AI platform and the solution was constructed. Number one, it needed to be completely trackable, traceable, so there is no black box. Every piece of information or the variable that we are processing from the unstructured documents, attachments, or whatnot, that is actually slowing down your process, needs to be trackable, traceable, so that it can go back to the source document wherever you actually at a click of a button. Second, needed to be hallucination free as much as possible. AI models are probabilistic, but there are ways to actually wrap these AI models to eliminate the hallucination. That's exactly what Enroad on this platform we have been able to successfully do. Respect the subject matter. Very critical. You are the subject matter. You've been doing this, or your organization has been doing this kind of task and executing these processes for years. You have the institutional knowledge. How do we make you in charge of governing this AI model so that it is you can train it, you can verify it, and so you are in charge at any given point. AI is not actually making decision, but AI is actually enabling you to become more productive. Fourth important pillar is enterprise ready. Super critical. Enterprises like yourself have very unique needs in terms of scaling, in terms of information security. So what we have done with this platform and the solution is that we have safeguarded both of these. These solutions, Enroad-based platform solutions, have been actually working in last, we've been actually implemented high scale operations for last 4 years. It's in production, delivering value. And again, going back to what Dan said, we're bringing this decades of building and automating some of these investment processes with a AI that actually works and combining it. And we are trying to actually, differentiate in terms of eliminating some of the tasks that are mundane. Now, going again a little bit one more step into the process. Our solution extracts when we actually encounter, let's say, a document or a unstructured piece of content. We extract the data extract everything from that document, generate the variables that are critical. We normalize that information. But as I said earlier, everything is trackable, traceable. At the same time, we also assign some sort of a confidence score associated with each field that you may be interested in terms of rekeying or basically extracting. Depending on what your thresholds is, you could actually go back and actually start reviewing these items manually. This entire platform or the solution is governed by a bunch of functional rules that ensures that no wrong data or the errors have been captured before they get submitted into target systems. The idea here is AI will make mistakes. That is going to happen. But how do you ensure that every mistake that AI does can be turned into some sort of self-learning tool for the AI engine to learn faster? And this is what we've been successfully been able to do here. Again, the reward critical, right? So once let's say we find a mistake in some of our, we let's say we picked the wrong information, or we normalize that information to a wrong field. Obviously, your experts will actually be able to change all that, and once gets changed, you can rerun the document, that specific document, and that is all completely enabled into this solution. Idea again is to give you a hallucination-free, error-free way of doing the work that you were doing it manually and doing it and provide automation for that.
Thanks, Ashish. So crucially, while we are firmly pro-automation, we do not want a black box system, as Ashish said. Everything that happens is tracked in an easily accessible audit trail for review and improvement. Supporting dashboard and management screens have been provided to give full transparency and allow you to easily get at the data, even as it has been automatically processed. Smart filters and real-time views allow you to quickly see bottlenecks or where a user needs to step into a workflow. Bespoke dashboards can be built to mirror your unique operations and highlight the relevant KPIs and SLAs. Real-time information and historical trends are available as a click, and the sample dashboard here illustrates that. So, what is the end result of this technology? Significantly increased efficiency and reductions in operational risk. We are working with a tier 1 asset servicer and have seen the work involved in processing a single document reduced from 20 minutes to 20 seconds. When you're processing hundreds of documents a day, time savings are immense, freeing up your team members to focus on higher value-added tasks. So I will now walk you through a sample Optima AI installation and sample workflow to give you a better feel for how the application can support your operations. Here we see the configurable overview dashboard graphically showing you the data that is important to you, with each widget providing drill down capabilities for further detail. Quick filters are available so you can narrow your focus to a particular area of your business, team, date, or indeed any other piece of information. Everything is configurable, everything is filterable, and everything is in real time. This dashboard I'm showing you here shows a record for each document Optima AI has ingested. You can filter by the status or type of document. Or you can filter by any of the stages the document passes through as part of its journey from unstructured data to final update in the underlying applications. In this installation, we have set up 7 stages to illustrate the steps a document goes through from arrival to final processing. This is an example and is completely customizable for your particular needs. So we're going to go through these 7 gates just really quickly. So gate 1 is the file has been received, and we've detected the document has come in by email or dropped in a folder, whatever the source is, and we're aware of it. Gate 2, sorry, let me just click. Gate 2 is the file has been extracted. We've used AI to interpret this document. Gate 3 now, we have a human step here to validate that the AI agent has performed its work as planned. So we have that human step, but as you become more confident, you can quickly update the workflow to remove the need for this human review. Step 4 is the file conversion. We've taken the approved data and we've normalized it for future and downstream use. Step 5 is data transfer. Using an API, we have transferred the data to the underlying application. Next step, step 6, is a further human step to validate that the data to be transferred to the application is valid before it is committed to the underlying application. Any API step can bring up screens from the underlying application, and we will see this an example of this shortly. This human step can, of course, be removed. And then finally, good news, that the document has been processed and the underlying application successfully updated. Each document itself can be viewed in detail using the icons on the right-hand side of the screen. Options include allowing you to see the original document at any time or going into the granular detail on the workflow steps the document has gone through. It's worth noting that a single document can initiate multiple independent but linked workflows depending on its content. Further detail filtering is available if needed. This plays to our vision of transparency and that it is always possible to get at the underlying data at any stage of the process. When a human is involved, you can configure how many layers of sign-off are required before the workflow can move to its next stage. All reviewers can see what has been processed to date using the audit trail, so there's full transparency even in the review process. Here's a quick view of where we've designed a workflow step to involve a human. This step lets the human see the original source document here on the right-hand side and the data AI has extracted from it on the left. If the human is not happy with what the AI has done, they can edit as required, all tracked in the audit trail. And this data helps the AI agent learn and improve over time, as Ashish mentioned. So here's another example of the human step. An integrated API has brought up a screen from an underlying application on the right-hand side. In this example, we're showing the application screen. On the top is the before value, and then at the bottom is the proposed value alongside the original document on the left. So the user can perform a final review before committing. Again, this human step is optional, or can initially the human, but once confidence levels grow, it can be quickly converted into an automated step. So that's the kind of the quick summary. So just to think about it again, overall, Optima and its AI agents have normalized unstructured data from all your traditional sources, initiated workflows based on this data, transferred that data to your applications, allowed you to design the flow and set human review at any step, gave you full transparency at all times, and of course, maintained a full audit trail of everything for review and for ongoing process improvement. So I'll pass back to you now, Dan, to sum up things. Dan?
And you are on mute.
Thank you. So today was about a simple shift, moving from managing workflows to actually getting work done. Optima AI is bringing together proven AI and enterprise-grade workflow and the power of Linedata to help teams handle the messy, unstructured work that continues to slow everything down. That's a problem we want to solve. If any of this resonated with you, we'd love to continue the conversation, explore where this can make an impact in your organization. So we're going to go ahead and jump to some of those questions. And there's also going to be a meeting link. So if you want to go ahead and schedule a meeting, go ahead and click that link and we can connect. But right now, let's jump right into the questions. Okay, let's go ahead and take that first question. So the first one I'm going to throw at you, Ashish. What data sources does Optima AI work with? And how flexible is it taking in information?
Perfect. So Optima AI actually can work with Optima AI works with both structured as well as unstructured data sources. Structured data sources, there's a direct feed that is actually API enabled, can come in, and that can be utilized to actually power work queues, workflows, so on and so forth. The second is unstructured part. Unstructured part is where what we will actually there's no limitation in terms of what kind of unstructured content we can address. It is about understanding what you need from the normalization perspective. So once it is data is extracted, how we normalize it so that that becomes actionable in your downstream processes. So there is really no in theory, there is no really limit in terms of what we can actually do with this. It is for the structured sources, is a straight out API calls. If it is unstructured, it is all about understanding that unstructured content and more importantly, what your normalization needs are and how the data needs to be represented in your workflows.
Excellent. Thank you, Ashish. Michael, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think we've talked to clients. Obviously, data comes in many different formats, so we're being very careful to build something that's completely scalable to anything. Really, it's the AI that does the hard work. It's completely independent of the source material.
Hmm. Great. And second question, I'll give this one to you, Michael, to kick off with. You said Optima AI is new, but it's built on tech that's already in production. How does that get rolled out?
That's correct. Yeah, we have workflows in production, so we're not well, the offering combining the AI, the document ingestion and automated workflows is new. It's built on top of existing proven technology that's out there in the market. So if we were to roll it out with an existing client or a new client, we generally bring in the documentation reading part and then take a few, maybe one or two kind of high volume use cases where structured work is creating that level of friction. And there we expand coverage, but at all stages we got. I think I mentioned this earlier. The human input or the human oversight is extremely important. That transparency and that audit trail is key. So we'd make sure you're comfortable with the workflows, with how the whole model is working, and then we continue to gradually roll it out across all your business. So it's not a kind of a turn on big bang approach. It's very much a gradual rollout with your cooperation so that you can see value very early, but you can be comfortable that that value hasn't created any issues for you.
Excellent.
And
Thank you.
that's,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you, Michael. Ashish, anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, I think this is actually a very critical point from at least from my perspective, right? Optima has been built decades, as Michael said earlier as well, the decades of experience actually that has gone into Optima. What that really entails is that this solution, I'm talking about the workflow side of it, solution has been tested, been given feedback by many institutions. All the bugs have been actually ironed out. So this is a very stable very I would say the industrial strength workflow automation engine, again tailored to some of our industries, some of the industries that we actually focus on. What we and now what we're really building is a layer of this agent, the agentic AI or the agents, and that really kind of it kind of marries the what is proven and what is already working with Enrolled, and now we are actually and that's how the value will be created here.
All right. Thanks, Ashish. And one more question here. From your experience, what do you see as the biggest factors that influence whether something like Optima AI actually gets adopted by companies? Ashish, let's go ahead and hear your perspective on that.
I think it is, in our view, in at least some of the market research that we have done, Dan, as you know, um, I think this is the next frontier in terms of industry has actually invested numerous hours, sweat equity, dollars, everything into building these workflow automation tools, but still the work gets done by humans. And I think this is what the AI really allows us to do, is get that work done as well, while keeping the human in the loop and then not losing the expert. It is super critical. So I think this is the next frontier. This is not about, it's not about whether this will actually get adopted. It's actually when this is going to get adopted. That's where the AI promise of AI is all about. In fact, I would argue that this will become a competitive advantage at some point. And staying behind, staying actually not adopting it would actually will result into losing your competitive edge. So I think I'm making some very important statements here, but I think it is fact of what is going on with AI.
Yeah, and I think that's a good transition. There's a question here in the chat for the webinar from Jim. It says, "Can you talk a bit about the skills, talents of the users of the tool? Do they need any special skills?" So, what do we expect of the humans that are getting aided by this technology?
So, Michael, I'll take it, and then obviously you can add on top of
yeah,
it.
that at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, we do not. As I said in the beginning of this webinar as well, that we want to, again, the four pillars that on which we built this. We want to actually respect the experts here, and the experts are you. So what we are asking you to do is literally nothing. We're not asking you to reskill yourself or reskill yourself, none of that. You will, instead of you typing that information from documents, that information will be actually typed in for you by our AI agents. What your role is going to go from a maker to basically a checker, And that's the only, I think, transition that you will have to do here, and become an aid in terms of actually helping AI learn faster and the retraining, which is I think that is the only way. But what the tools that we have created here will allow you to do that pretty smoothly. I don't think there is any massive upscaling that is actually required here.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, and I'll kind of chip in on the earlier question as well. When you talk about use cases, I think certainly the automation of the workflows is valuable in all organizations, but those organizations who have different, completely independent applications where data has to move between those applications back and forth and so on, I think you're going to see a real obvious improvement where we are controlling that movement and we are orchestrating all that communication. In terms of building the workflows themselves, just to answer this latest question from Jim, yes, you don't need any skills. It's a very much a drag and drop process. In fact, what we do with our clients is we storyboard it first. The actual implementation in the application is very easy. Once you understand the flow of your data, the decision steps, where you want to go, depending on the results of the previous step. Once you have that pictured, it's as I mentioned, it's a very simple drag and drop procedure to take that kind of vision and create a standard workflow from it. So I hope that answers your question.
Excellent. Thanks both. I believe that's all we have time for today. Please get in touch with us to continue the conversation. Go ahead and scan that QR code and book a meeting. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.